Well, I guess we'll let them all in. I figure instead of having more of a formal class, just because the finances are, they're really like individual, does that make sense? Like each transaction that you have is gonna be different with your numbers, not so much with like what is split with the office and what you guys get, but people that are in coaching are gonna have different numbers than people that aren't in coaching. And agent bills are very person specific. So do you guys have specific questions or specific instances that you want me to go over or address?
Well, I guess we could just understand the whole like the electronic process.
Yep, so e-checks, yes, we can go over the e-checks. So basically, when I issue your commission check, it's no longer a physical check that you're gonna get. It comes from an email that's not my email. And some people have, seen these emails go into junk and spam, so you just wanna make sure, yep, you just wanna make sure that that email address is in like your address book, or check your spam the first time that you're expecting a commission check and then just drag it over to your inbox, or mark it as not spam, and then it should go to your inbox every time. That email address that it comes from is app@echecks.com. Yep, app@echecks.com. And then the subject line of that is going to say, here's your payment from Newtown Partners Realty for, and then the amount of your check. So even if you are searching your email inbox for app@echecks.com and it's not popping up, you can search for that subject line, here's your payment from, and then it should narrow down results as well. In that email, it'll have a link for you to click to get the check. And there's a couple of different options, and really, like, some checks have been able to be direct deposited. Most so far have not been able to be direct deposited. So if it's eligible for direct deposit, when you click the link in that email, it'll have get payment. So if you click on get payment, then it'll give you a couple of different options to either print the check or get it electronically transferred to your bank account. Yes, so the first time that you get a check, it's gonna prompt you to create an account. And basically that account is just email address, password. I believe every time that you want to direct deposit, you have to put your bank account information in each time. Just because then it's not being stored. So then it's really safer for you guys too.
Can you print the check and then mobile deposit it?
Yep. So what some people have been having issues with mobile deposit is that they're only allowed to mobile deposit up to $5,000. So if your check is over that, woohoo, but you have to go to the bank. Or you have to talk to your bank about possibly upping that limit. But yes, you can, no matter what the options are, you're always going to have the option to print the check. So you can print it. So it's basically, you can print it on regular paper. It has the check at the top and then just some instructions on the bottom. And the check is always gonna be upside down from the instructions. It's weird the way it prints, but when you take it into the banks nowadays are very familiar with them. It acts just as a regular check. Sometimes they might have to call me to verify. So I've had to do that for a couple of agents now, just to say, hey, yes, like, I did issue it, this is the check number, this is the amount, and then the bank is fine with it. So,
What about the, 2 pages of information that the company?
yep, so the disbursement authorizations that you guys get with the checks, which basically tells you how your commission was broken down, that is being attached to the email and to the check. So basically, when you click the link in the email, it'll take you to the deluxe website where you can print the check, and it'll show that it has attachments. So the disbursement authorization will be attached to that. And then also I've been trying to attach what your check printout would look like if I printed it here at the office, which includes, you know, that breakdown of the transaction fee, the conveyancing fee, and if I'm taking your agent bill payment out of that, so that the check amount that you're receiving, you can see where any discrepancies might be from what the disbursement authorization says in the check amount. Because sometimes people forget that there's a conveyancing fee and transaction fee, and then sometimes they forget that they said, oh, take my agent bill payment out of my commission, and then they're like, why is my check short? And I'm like, because you told me to take money out. But yeah, so I try to include that extra information in there too, so that you guys can see that. Okay, so that is twofold. It is so that you guys have it and it's easily accessible. So even if you print the check and you don't print the disbursement authorization, or you do print the disbursement authorization and then you lose it, then instead of having to come back to me and be like, hey, can you print this out for me again? You can just go right back into your deluxe account. It's called a lockbox, and print that DA out again. So it's pretty much always going to be there for you. And then it's also saving me paper and saving the expense for the office of printing that out as well. Because you guys know we're heading into a shift, so we're trying to cut expenses as much as possible, and paper is an easy expense to cut when you try to actively cut down on your paper usage.
Good idea.
Questions about anything else? Those of you that were in the Earnest class for escrow, the electronic escrow, we did receive our first deposit for Earnest money through the app, which was awesome. It was so easy. It was on one of Peggy and Jay's listings. And it came through. I got the notification that we had like a deposit. It had the buyer's name, it had the property address on there, it had the amount. And then a day later, I got the notification that it was actually deposited. So I was able to just forward that to Peggy and Jay. They have a copy of it. They can forward it to the agent if they need to.
And the buyer did that independently.
I believe the buyer's agent initiated it. So whatever office they were from, they might be using Earnest as well, so they were familiar with it. So they were the one that requested it, and that it be sent to us, so.
Let me ask you this, I was trying to do one for, I was showing Dave, and they were all like, well, I don't know how to do this. And so the other agent was Keller Williams Doylestown, and they weren't on it. I was
Oh.
like, come on. I was trying to show how easy this is. So do we just send a request to them to do it?
Yep, so basically, I think within the app, if you are searching for the brokerage and it's not in there, I think there's a quick way where you can just request. If not, then it's another Keller Williams office, just let me know and I'll reach out to their MCA and be like, hey, you guys really should jump on this because it's super easy. For the most part, I think a lot of the KW offices, especially in our area, are going to be getting on it pretty soon. Just because it's a KW preferred vendor and it's super easy to use, it's super convenient, it's really nice for everybody to get those notifications so everybody's on the same page. And it's no more of me having to reach out to you guys, hey, I got this, $100,000 escrow wire deposit, but it doesn't have any information on the bank account, so who does it belong to? Like, it's just got everything in there.
So are we still taking checks the
Yes.
old-fashioned way?
Yep, so we are still accepting checks for escrow deposits the old-fashioned way. It's just the earnest is going to be in replace of any wires that are coming in. So if your clients are requesting that or the buyers of one of your listings is requesting that that they wire in their deposit money, just send them over to Ernest. You can either, if you have their email address, you can initiate the request, or have the buyer agent initiate the request for it. Just because it's safer than bank to bank. Well, it's safer than the buyer going to the bank and requesting the wire be sent, and then for some reason, maybe they had the wiring instructions wrong, or, the wiring instructions got caught up in the web somewhere and somebody changed it and it gets sent to a different bank account. That's no fun. So with Ernest, it eliminates that liability on us. And it's also cheaper. So where we would charge $35 for a wire, Ernest is only $15 to the buyer.
And do we have to have an account set up ahead of time to do that? How do we, if we get asked about that, how do we initiate that?
So there is, through KW Connect, there's the Ernest app in there. And then also there's the Ernest app for your phone. So you can download the Ernest app on your phone and it should walk you through how to set an account up.
So we,
Yep. Soon it will be attached to your opportunities in Command. So it'll be made even simpler to use and request escrow for. Yep. So I haven't seen they haven't given us any background information on that or sneak peeks yet, which I'm kind of excited about. I was hoping we'd be able to get a sneak peek, but not yet.
It's like, the transaction coordination is going to Command to use it.
Yep,
Not-
so basically from what I've been told, which could be completely wrong. It'll have like in your transactions where it has the tabs at the top for like your documents and your buyer info, there'll be another tab for Ernest to be integrated into the opportunity where you can just go in and request it that way.
It's not yet, but yeah.
Not yet, it should be,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Questions? Comments, concerns? What about you guys on Zoom? What questions do you have about money that I can answer? Okay, we got a quiet group today, guys. It's quiet.
I'm good. I understand what you said. I
It
do.
worked.
Do you have questions about anything else, like agent bills or how your commission gets processed or anything fun like that?
Faster than,
The earnest deposits?
no, I mean, no, like.
Oh, the e-checks?
Yeah.
So I process them at the same rate. And so basically it's faster if you have to drive into the office. So like we have some agents that live in South Jersey, some that live like a little bit farther away, and they're like, oh, hey, can you let me know when my commission's ready? Because I have to make a trip into the office. Now they don't have to do that. So they're saving on gas money too, because, that's going through the roof. But if they don't have to make a special trip into the office just to pick up their commission check, then yes, they're getting paid a little bit faster. But if you're just depositing it as a regular check, it takes about the same time.
I apologize, I missed the beginning. Can you send us an email and then that would give us a link to sign up on whatever we need to sign up?
When I send the check, it comes to your email, and then the first time you sign in to get it, you'll sign up for an account. Yep, so, yeah, so
I
sometimes
bet
the.
there's a lot of checks in there. That's where they are.
They're hanging out in your junk box. Yep, so the first time that you get a check sent to you, check your junk mail or your spam. I have had a couple of agents say that that's where it pops up in first, but it's different for everybody. Sometimes it goes right into your inbox, sometimes it goes into your junk mail, so. If you're expecting a check, check the junk.
Now, do you use a KW or do you use-
So,
I get stuff. Whatever you signed up for.
yep, so a while back, I
Oh.
sent out a link for a Google form for you guys to put in your preferred email address for the check. If you did not fill that out, then I've been sending it to your KW email address. I can post that link again.
Don't
Yep,
remember seeing that.
I'll post it in the Facebook group again, so that you guys can check in there and make sure that you put in your preferred email address for your checks. Some people actually had their account set up already, from somebody else sending them a check, so that's the email address that they prefer to use, so that it goes into the same one.
So, question about earnest.
Yes,
So if we're requested, if we're asked, if we're told that somebody wants to wire a payment through, we tell them to use earnest and look for our office.
Yep.
Search for our office. and
search
we're
for
in
our
it.
office. It should be under Keller Williams Newtown. So, and I'll have another earnest training as well. But when they're requesting that money, there's a few different steps that they'll go through, you know, putting the buyer information in and then where to send it to. And then they can type in Keller Williams Newtown and it should pop up. If they type in just Newtown, that it should pop up. Because what happens is when they put the property address in first, it recognizes that we're in Pennsylvania or in New Jersey. And then when you're typing in Keller Williams, it'll pull up only the Keller Williams offices that are in Pennsylvania and New Jersey that are available. If you type in Newtown, it should just pull up Keller Williams Newtown. I don't think that there's any other offices associated with Ernest at this moment that are in Newtown or have Newtown in that name.
So do we need to set up accounts or we just tell the buyers? to set up accounts?
That's a good question. I think that, I don't think that you have to set up an account. You should be able to just go in and into the Earnest app. I haven't played with it yet. I haven't had really much time to do
In the
it.
Earnest app, you just send an invitation.
Ah,
So it's, it asks you the buyers, when you start, it will ask you if you have an email address. Like it says to request a payment. Robbie, here's the,
okay.
it will say
I'll
request,
download it.
yeah, and then, it gives you a thing about creating your first request, but you can request it, then it will say, you know, do you have the email address of the person? And then you put that in, and then it steps you through.
It's the green one, right?
It's the green one, yeah, with like a,
So are you putting the email address of the agent or are you putting the email address for the office?
No, it's the email address is for who you're requesting the money from.
so the buyer.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep. This way, because what happens is then they'll get an email with the request in it for them to put their information in order to send the Earnest money.
Most of you have to sign in, right?
Yeah, I created,
So you have to create an account even to send somebody an invitation.
right, and then you pick Keller Williams Newtown as you. And as your office.
Okay. Other questions? Concerns? What about anything other than money? Real estate wise or not? Sometimes I give good advice. Sometimes it's not that great. But I'll give you my opinion.
was a resounding, endorsement for your advice. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
I don't
Carissa,
know.
Carissa, are we gonna be able to do an e-check for sending money to title companies?
Soon, yes. I have, I think like another 1,000 escrow checks that I ordered 2 years ago. So I'm trying to work my way through the box of escrow checks, and I think once that happens, I'm just gonna convert to e-checks for money to title companies. Cause what that'll do is that will eliminate the need to FedEx checks if agents are not going to closings. And so that saves you guys money, cause then you're not paying to FedEx the check. And I think by the time we work our way through that entire box of checks, more title companies will be on board to accepting the electronic checks. So yes, eventually we're gonna make our way that way. It'll be nice. And then if you guys run into a title company that wants to pay us your commission through like an e-check, that's fine. You just have to give them my email address. So we have had a couple of title companies that wanted to pay via e-check. And I don't mind doing that. Just give my email address, it'll come directly to me, and then I can process it like your normal commission check.
Do we need to give you a heads up or send you an Alta or anything with it?
So the Alta you'll put into command like normal. And then, yeah, if you want to just shoot me an email, because sometimes it still does, even though I marked it not spam. Sometimes they will either go into my promotions folder or into my inbox. So as long as I know to look for it, then that's fine. So if you shoot me an email, say, hey, you know, this title company should be sending you e-checks for our commission, then I'll be able to look out for it.
And are you gonna send out like written? I missed the first part on how in the world, how do we request the agent's check from Newtown? I must have missed that part where you started. Are you gonna send it out like written instructions, or, because the sound's not real good on the,
For the agent's commission check?
yeah, I got app@echecks.com, but what does the agent need to do? Will you be sending out like instructions so I can go over it again?
Yep, so basically, when the agent receives a check, an electronic check from that email address, they, if it's their first time receiving it, they're gonna click on the link and just set up an account. And then they should be able to either print the check, or if there are other options, it'll say get payment. And then that's where they'll choose if they want to have their check direct deposited into their account.
Oh,
But
okay, so they don't need to set up any account beforehand. They just click on the link.
No, yep, they'll just click on the
Okay.
link and then they'll choose how they want to get their check.
Okay,
Sometimes the only option is to print it. And that's just the third party processor. I haven't been able to figure out what their eligibility requirements are for direct deposit. It seems like it's just kind of random at this point, what checks are eligible for direct deposit and which ones aren't. I've reached out to probably 6 people at both Deluxe and their third party processing company, and I keep getting bounced back and forth between people. So I'm trying to figure it out so that we can get more of you on direct deposit. But I keep running into dead ends and having to circle back. You're welcome. Questions, comments, concerns? Dance party, anybody? Yep, if that's one thing you guys do from this class, please check your spam folder. You don't know if there's a check hanging out in there. And if you are expecting a check, and it's not in your spam and not anywhere in your email, please email me or reach out. I can resend it. I can only resend it once, and it only is via a PDF at that point. So, there is the ability for me to resend it. I would rather, if you guys haven't gotten it in your email, that I print it for you, here at the office, just because then it doesn't mess up like the back system or whatever. So yeah, that's it. Okay,
Thank you.
not a problem. You guys on Zoom, do you have any questions regarding agent bills, commissions, escrows, monies? Anything else? No?
I don't. You made it very clear. Thank you. You did.
Yeah, and then, just like always, my door is usually open. If it's closed, it's just because I'm on probably a YP meeting. Or I'm trying to finish up transmittal, but, for the most part, my door is usually open. If it is open, feel free to swing in and ask any questions. You're never bothering me. I'm here for you guys.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Alrighty.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Carissa.
Thank you, Carissa.
Yep, not a problem.
You're the best.
Bye.
Bye.